Hello and welcome to the Space Law and Policy podcast series. I'm your professor, Glenn Torres-Spelliscy. Thanks for joining me.
Hello all and welcome to the last podcast in our Space Law and Policy podcast series. I hope that you've enjoyed the course, and I have certainly enjoyed thinking about these complex issues with you. Let me take the time to offer some concluding thoughts. The future is up. That is where we started this course, with that recognition. There is no other solution. We have to go up. And as human development continues unabated at an exponential rate, so does our ability to manipulate the environment around us, to bend it and shape it to our advantage and, candidly, at times to our disadvantage. Growth in the modern age has indeed been quick and chaotic, and as we have learned some difficult lessons along the way, not all human progress has moved us in a good direction. Sometimes the failures have been dramatic and the results catastrophic, but we have learned lessons. The effect of human development on the Earth is undeniable. The more successful we are, the more energy we consume and the more pollution we generate. The more successful we are, the more people are born and the more we stress our water and food supplies. The more successful we are, the more room we take up, choking off habitats of other living organisms on the planet. Now, as we peer upwards into the cosmos, we have the opportunity as a global community to take that next giant leap in humanity's development in a more thoughtful way. The issues that we have discussed in this course would potentially address many of the stresses that we have put on Earth's environment to support the burgeoning human population. Resources scarce on Earth are plentiful in other parts of the solar system. The ability to spread human populations across multiple planets and moons could relieve significant amounts of population stress on the environment. Undoubtedly, the development of space is the next logical leap in human development. But we have to do it smartly, and to heed the lessons that we have learned through both our successes and failures in developing the Earth. That's largely what this course has been about. How do we buttress the current outdated regulatory structure to drive growth that is both fast, but also sustainable? As I have argued throughout the course, the best way to do that is to adopt smart regulations. Regulations that provide the stability to encourage rather than stifle development. When the market is small and relatively transparent, we can situate regulatory enforcement structures towards the lower end of the enforcement period. After all, when there are only a few participants, their activities can be visible to the public. In these situations, principles of self-regulation and voluntary codes of compliance can be effective. However, as the market grows, regulations that enforce existing best practices will become even more important. Doing that, however, presents challenges of cooperation, coordination, and innovation. Anytime a new regulatory scheme is adopted, there is likely to be ardent opposition, some of it in good faith and others not. There are always going to be those who benefit from the current regulatory structure, or lack thereof, who will oppose any type of change as a result. It will be up to the policymakers to overcome these arguments and adopt smart regulatory structures to protect all the market participants, consumers, and suppliers, as well as to encourage economic development. And that is where you come in. It will be your generation and those that follow that will be primarily responsible for writing the rules of the game when it comes to space exploration. German statesman Johann Wolfgang von Goethe once wrote, "Dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move the hearts of men." That quote, which is ubiquitous in its use and perhaps apocryphal in its origin, reminds me of the advice that my father-in-law used to give my partner on the way to school when she was young. He would say, "Remember to ask big questions." There are no bigger questions available right now than how we will manage the next great human adventure. Our use of space could either destroy us or save us as a species. It's yet unclear as to which path humanity will take. The future is indeed up, and more importantly, it's up to you. Thanks for joining me this semester, and I hope to see your name again in future classes.